What is going on, guys? Rated Designs here, and I'm coming back to you guys with the tutorials and a lot of stuff like that. I think it's been missed on my channel. A lot of people have been asking, "Yo, Rated, where's your tutorials? Where's everything going?" You know. And one, it's just I've been running out of ideas, and two, you guys aren't giving me what you want me to do. So this was suggested by a few other people. One, this tutorial, I will have to say at first, of course, like the shit out of this video. But this is going to be a little bit of a longer tutorial, so if you don't have time to watch it, mark it as watched later, and like and favorite real quick, and then watch it later. But this is going to be a little bit of a longer tutorial. It's going to be on basically the bubble effect around your text, if you guys can see right here. Most commonly known and used by Mr. Vader. And he did a tutorial, and I will link it in this video. It's basically all in French, and a lot of, I know, English people, you know, American, shall I say, people who do speak American were very confused, and there were a lot of people that just didn't really get the concept. So what I did is I'm going to link all you French people and everybody who speaks French. I'll link you his video, and everybody who speaks English or you know, can speak English and understands it, stay here. You're gonna love it. Even if you don't, please. But anyways, yeah, this is just this is my effect, little twist on it. It's pretty much pretty similar. I mean, it's pretty close, the same. But yeah, there's many different ways I've done it. I'm actually working on Medifrags' background right now. It's kind of something simple like that. And ooh, whoops. But yeah, here's just the text right here. And if you guys hear buzzing in the background, it is my phone. It is constantly going off because my buddies in a Kick chat that are just constantly spamming it at the moment, which is partially my fault. But yeah, so this is basically what I'm going to be showing you how to do. This is an advanced tutorial, guys. So you guys wanted advanced Cinema 4D tuts? Here you go. Now, what you're going to do is, you guys have my Lightroom. I'd recommend using it just because this is, you know, my stuff in my materials. You can make, I have a dark gray that I use. You can make your own dark grays. It doesn't really work. And you can really use anything. It doesn't really matter. But what we're going to do here is we're going to, basically, I'll show you guys how to do everything you guys see in here. We're going to come back to this original version right here. But this is kind of how the smooth, cool looking effect comes in. But we're going to start out here in Cinema 4D. You're just going to make a mode text. And, you know, you can use any font you want. I'm just going to type vulgar in. I don't know why I use that word a lot. But, yeah, we're going to use any font you really want. Doesn't play a huge role in this. Doesn't really matter. Just trying to find a good one because I don't want, you know, people tend to take fonts and they just look absolutely terrible, but somehow the background looks good. I would like to say that those backgrounds still, that doesn't change it. It still looks like ass. I mean, you need to, the font of the background, it plays a huge role in it. Not many people realize that. We'll use, yeah, why not? We'll use this one. Okay, yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is most of my texts are all pretty similar. Depth, now if you're going to use just this text, meaning we're only going to see this, and we're not moving the letters around in certain ways, you can make the depth as far as you want. It doesn't really matter, however big you want. I'm actually going to change the font. I told you guys I'm very anal when it comes to the fonts. It's just something that, actually, I don't really mind this one. I know I'm using Batman forever, but whatever, bringing it back. Yeah, so we're going to just add some fillet caps to this. We're going to add just ones, and that's it. That's all you're doing. After that, you're going to add your dark gray, or maybe a black, depending upon what you want, into your mode text. You could use white, you can use an actual color, but this is what I recommend. And you're just going to duplicate your mode text. Now, duplicating your mode text, you're probably like, what are we doing here? You'll see later. Now, you're just going to click on your original mode text, and you're going to go to Plugins, Thrausi, and Thrausi, of course. Now, if you don't have Thrausi, pretty easy to find. Just search it up on YouTube. And you're just going to put the pieces, 35, and break now. This is going to take a little bit of, you know, time, shall I say, to just break everything. It'll break pretty fast. I think, you know, most computers will, depending on your computer, shall I say, it'll break pretty fast, though. It's not, I'm not breaking it 100 times each piece, so, or each letter, so it should be good. Anyways, after you break, you're going to want to make sure that all these X's are turned into checks. You can just hold Command or Control and just kind of click and drag down. What we're going to do is add a fracture. Fracture basically kind of makes all the pieces crack in a, you know, uniformed order. It's basically kind of what it, you know, keeps everything very, I guess, you know, together. But what I did here is you're going to get the fracture above everything. You're going to take your Throwsied pieces and you're just going to drag it over the fracture. Now, after that, you want to select your pieces again, MoGraph, Effector, and Random. It's going to explode everything. Just going to move that above or under the fracture, above all the text, and you're going to just kind of switch the strength down to about 7. Kind of give it the cracked look. You're not going to want to, you know, go into here and fix all the whites. That's kind of what I want. And we're just going to, done with that. Your fracture piece is done. Now your mode text, a lot of people, if you guys haven't seen what my other tutorials, I used atom arrays, did a tutorial on it. You're just going to use an atom array and put your mode text, drag it above and on top of the atom array. And what it's going to do is it's going to turn, and let me just turn this off real quick. Oh, I am so sorry. Let me see. Okay, so basically what it does is it gives your text right here, it just kind of gives it these atom array type, you know, almost like a cell render, but not really. I mean, it kind of, you can get it to look like that, but that's not the point. Anyways, what you want to do is you're going to take your atom array and you're going to take the sphere radius and you're going to pull it up to 10. The reason I'm going to pull it up to 10 is because I want these spheres to look big. We're not going to be sitting here and using small spheres. I mean, you can get them up to like 50, but look at how huge they look. I mean, if you really want, but 15 sometimes I use. Just depends. I usually use 10 to 15. And then we're going to take the subdivision. Now, the subdivisions, of course, are the cuts that are inside of the, or the divisions of the spheres. And the bigger they are, the more round they're going to look. So the more subdivisions, the more round, you know, the more round they're going to look. So I usually do around 20 to 30 subdivisions. This one I do 20. And single elements, you're not going to want to use that for this one. For atom arrays stuff, you will, but not for this one. Anyways, what we're going to do here is we're going to take our atom array, and we're going to add another, or select our atom array, and we're going to add another MoGraph Effector Random. And we're going to take this, and we're going to go to our deformer setting on the random effector and switch the deformation to point. And we're going to just select that and put it over the mode text. Now everybody's going to freak out and be like, what did you just do here? Now this part is tough. I'm going to show you guys this again. You're just going to take this, drag it over the mode text, and just drop it. And what we're going to do here is you're just going to lower the strength maybe about, you know, 50. And some might be a little bit more. And we're just going to move this, you know, back. And the reason is because you want to see what's going on, am I right? Now you can screw around with these different turbulence and noise and Gaussian and different ways that they're sorted and just kind of different random modes and stuff. And what it does is it kind of gives this effect, and I'm going to try to render this out the most as I possibly can for you, but these renders, because atom arrays take forever. Now, what you're going to do is after you have these atom arrays and this huge gulp of like huge balls, I know that sounds weird, but you're going to want to just take a color. So for this one we did blue, and you're just going to want to put it over the atom arrays, and you're going to render. And it just should render out pretty slow, to be honest. That's kind of what happens, but you know, atom arrays take a long time to render. It's not something that, you know, you can fix. It's just the atom arrays have so much detail in such a small spot. that it's not easy for them to render very fast. But basically what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to render this and render it out to, you know, name it whatever it is, and just render. You're going to sit there, and you could render over and over and over and over and over. And what you're going to get is you're going to get something like this. Move on to Photoshop, and you're going to get this. Now, now right here, you see these slits and all of these different areas and the cracks and kind of the crack text. You can see the word vulgar, but you can also see these little, like, it almost kind of looks like deformed, like, you know, balls that are kind of like liquid that go in, you know, they bunch up, almost like molecules is almost kind of what I'm getting at. And that's kind of what you want. You want that effect where they kind of look scrunched up and really close next to each other, because it's going to look even cooler in the background. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this original, shall I say, and we're going to just duplicate the original. And we're going to name this Cool One. And we're going to untick the Cool One. And we're just going to duplicate the first layer. Now you're going to ask, why am I duplicating? Here's why. In Photoshop CS6, I don't know about any other Photoshops, you go to Filter, Filter Gallery. This is on the top layer. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to Stylize Glowing Edges. Now, you're going to click the mode as Glowing Edges, of course, and you're going to pull the edge width all the way down to 1. Brightness, you can screw around with it. I usually keep it around 7. And the smoothness, keep that up around 9. And just hit OK. Now it's going to give this weird effect, and you're probably like, I don't like that, and neither do I, trust me. But what we're going to do is lower the opacity on it. Now, I lowered it to about 50, and this is what you get, is you get this cool looking effect that Vader has, and I've always wondered how he did it, and this makes sense. It's the glowing edges, and I've used glowing edges for many other things, but I never thought of doing it for a text, and I do have to say, Vader, if you're watching this and if you're understanding it, props to you. I never thought that would be used for this, but that's a really, really cool effect. Props to you. And yeah, so basically what you're going to do is just merge that down, as you guys can see. So it's one layer. And after that, your favorite parts, the oil paint. You're going to just go to your oil paint, and you can't really see it too well because it is a dark text, but you're going to, you know, you're not going to be able to see it on my screen, but you're going to want to get your stylization up to about 4, your cleanliness, maybe around 1, 1.2, and then your scale can whatever you want. Brush detail is the biggest thing. You don't want it up near 10, because then you're going to get all these little like brush details in there. You kind of want to keep it down around 1, where you kind of see the brush details, but not too much. They're kind of very vague, and it kind of just looks like everything's deteriorating. Kind of looks cool. And keep everything, you know, shine. You can go down about 1.1 and keep everything the same, and just hit OK. Now we have our text, and this is the effect that I was trying to go for. Now after that, you're going to want to do a quick gradient overlay to overlay, and just switch it to about 50, maybe around 75, and move the gradient down. And then your drop shadow, 0, 30, 20, and keep it about 35. And that's your text. I mean, that's it. And that's basically what we can do. And there's some really cool effects you can do. Like, you can make it almost, I mean, like I was screwing around with it, and I was giving it this smudge effect where you can like really pull down some of these smudges and just kind of really give it this like oily effect of like everything's kind of like pulling down, and like, and you kind of just take parts of it and just kind of pull it, and it just kind of looks like, you know, you can just kind of pull this down and pull these bottom parts kind of like they're falling and stuff. It just, you can really get a lot of effects with it, and that's kind of what we're going for. You want to quote unquote F around, but that's what your ultimate goal is. But here's the text. I hope you guys enjoy. I mean, it's kind of cool. But here's another tutorial, which is basically, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just, you know, moving your letters around and kind of getting them to look that way. It's pretty simple, and that's what you would do in here. You just make everything editable, and you can turn your letters. It's pretty simple. You can find that on YouTube everywhere. But before I go, I would like to say, Here, I'll move the original one down so you guys can see the difference. But yeah, here's the text. And before I go, I'd like to say thank you guys all for sticking around. All the people that keep, helping me out through these tough times. And, YouTube just being very, it's very demeaning, and it's just not a fun thing to do right now because of the growth, and everybody's just not growing anymore, and it just sucks. And, it's something that takes a lot of mental strength to keep doing, and I like to just thank you guys for that, because you guys keep me going, and it's something that I'll never stop, of course, but I will have to say that, the motivation has just gone down the drain lately. It's just not I'd have no motivation to do speed arts. It's just not fun anymore to me because I'm working so hard, and it's the same thing with editors and everybody out there. Is everybody works so hard on these projects. Big E, my buddy, said it the best. He's like, why work so hard on something that you get so little credit for? And he's right. I mean, it's annoying. I mean, I was looking at Dare Drone or Drone Concepts. He likes to be called Drone Concepts. He doesn't like to be called Dare Drone. Last time I called him that, he yelled at me. But anyways, Blake was just kind of he got into a really unmotivated state, and look what he did. He uploaded a speed art that was just massive, and it got very little views, and I find that ridiculous. And I find that a little ridiculous that, channels like Medifrags and some of these boss editors just are nowhere. Artery, they don't grow anymore, and it sucks. And it's just, there's no exponential growth. And there's no growth for, Big E and people like that. They're huge background designers. Look at Ali. Ali, I mean, it's absurd. And it's not fair, but I can rant on for hours about it, and if you guys want to hear me rant on about it, maybe we'll do a live stream. I don't know, I haven't really been bringing those live streams back because I just don't really feel like you guys like them, but if you like them, you join on in. But anyways, of course, here's my tutorial. Hopefully you guys can use it, use some cool effects on it. Show me what you guys can do. Throw some video responses of this text in the background, and just, show me what you can do. But anyways, I'm Ready Designs. Rate, comment, subscribe, like the shit out of this video, and deuces.